Ida B. Wells was an amazing woman. She was a writer, a teacher, and an early civil rights advocate. She was born into slavery, 1862, Holly Springs, Mississippi, and she lost both her parents at age 16. So she took a teaching job and she took care of them and worked full-time. She eventually moved to Memphis, Tennessee. She got on a train at the Chesapeake Railroad. She took a seat in the ladies' car, which was first class, and the man on the train tried to move her back to the smoking car. So he tried to remove her. She fought back, bit him, took 3 men to get her off the seat. She later sued the Chesapeake Railroad Company. She won on the local level, and she won $500, but then the Tennessee Supreme Court overruled that. And by the way, that was decades before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat. In Memphis, Tennessee, she got a job at the Evening Star as a writer, and she was also teaching. She started to write about the oppression that she was experiencing and other people of color were experiencing at that school against her own employer. And the school did not immediately fire her, but the next year they did not renew her teaching contract. Then there was a lynching of 3 men. One of them, Thomas Moss, was one of her best friends in the city, owned and operated a grocery store within their own community in the Black Belt of Chicago. Essentially, there was a white grocery store owner who saw their store as a competitive threat. A grocery store called the People's Grocery was raided, and the 3 men were lynched. That tragedy really changed course for Ida B. Wells and what she was going to be focusing on. So she wrote about the lynching of the 3 men, and the next day after that article had come out, a white mob raided her newspaper office. She wasn't there because she was expecting that, and they destroyed everything she owned in that office. So she left Memphis, Tennessee because her life was at risk. So then she moved to Chicago, and she went to the Chicago World's Fair, and she handed out a 90-page pamphlet that she wrote with 3 other men, one including Frederick Douglass, who was one of her close friends and mentors. And this pamphlet was called The Reason Why, and in her words, was a clear and plain statement of facts concerning the oppression put upon colored people. She traveled the South for years, documenting for the first time all of the lynchings that were taking place. Primarily, she gathered her information from white newspapers because they would advertise lynching that was planned. Between 1864 and 1894, she documented 10,000 lynchings. And this was really important because it was the first documentation of these events, which allows people to see the prevalence of the issue at that time. And also that the alleged reasons of why they were lynched was most of the time an accusation of a black man raping a white woman. This document of the 10,000 lynchings from the years 1864 to 1894 was called the Red Record. And of course, almost every single time, it was an alleged cause, with absolutely no effort being made to find out if that accusation is even valid. Ida B. Wells and her delegates participated in the National Suffrage Parade. The white woman who was organizing the whole thing was concerned that Southern white women would not want to march along colored women. So she said, "Can you guys please march in the back separately?" Ida B. Wells said, "Fuck no," and they did end up marching together. She done so much more than that also. Like, I obviously cannot get everything in a short video. She's dope.